Hey everybody, welcome back to the Vision Cast. Joel Penton here, founder and CEO of LifeWise Academy. On the Vision Cast, we talk about the LifeWise big picture and we do some storytelling. For the big picture segment, want to chat briefly about excellence. If you've heard about our sixfold LifeWise pledge, that final piece of the sixth thing is excellence. We want to be committed to maintaining the highest standards of excellence. And this has been a part of LifeWise from the very beginning, before we had launched a single program. In fact, before LifeWise had a name, we said we are committed to excellence. And this was put on display in the early days back in 2019. Again, before we'd even launched a program, we were trying to raise some money for this project, and we had a banquet in 2019. And as we went into that banquet, we knew that we wanted to demonstrate in that banquet the level of excellence that we were pursuing in every aspect of LifeWise. And so we wanted to make sure that we had the right venue. And so we got this nice hotel that's actually on the Ohio State University campus, that we had the right food that was excellent, that we had the right activity. So we, in fact, arranged to do a tour of Ohio Stadium before the banquet, that we had even the right kind of little gifts, on the table, that we had the right presentation, and we worked with a graphic designer to make sure that the slides and everything was just right, that we did things with excellence. And I remember the banquet went really well, and afterward, I think it was the very next day, I got a call from somebody who had attended that banquet, and they said, Joel, you spoke at the banquet a lot about excellence, and everything at the banquet seemed very excellent. Why so much emphasis on excellence? And I had maybe not really in my mind thought through the exact reason why. It was very intuitive to me that we wanted to demonstrate excellence. And so my response to him was that we want to pursue excellence because we represent the King. We represent the King of the universe. And that has become kind of almost a slogan for us when it comes to excellence, that we belong to the King, we serve the King, and so we want to do things with excellence. And so I've kind of, in fact, broken that down even further, and we talk about this around here, that we are three things, at least three things among many, as we serve the King, that we are the King's representatives, that we are the King's champions, and that we are the King's stewards. And so we'll take those one at a time. We're the King's representatives. As we are representing the King, we are ambassadors for him to an unbelieving world, to a world that's wondering, what's the deal with these Christians? Why do they believe what they believe? Who are they? That we know that we represent the King, and we want to represent him well, that we live in a dark world, and we want to be ambassadors of light, taking that light into that dark world, especially when it comes to LifeWise. People aren't always going to, have access to the classroom or have, meet all of the different staff, and they'll just be exposed maybe in this event, or maybe they'll just see the bus, or maybe they'll just read this interview or this or that. And so in all things, we want to be ambassadors, representing the King, as on his behalf, representing him well. We also want to be the King's champions, that we are competing on behalf of the King in the marketplace of ideas. We're not competing necessarily with other nonprofits or other ministries, but there's a marketplace of ideas out there. Families have a lot of places they can spend their time and their energy, a lot of places they can put their attention. Kids have a lot of options on their phones and in their lives of where they could focus their attention. And we believe the gospel is so important. It's of infinite importance. And so we want to compete in that marketplace of all these different competing ideas. We want to compete well on behalf of our King. We're his champions out there. And then finally, we are the King's stewards. The Lord has given us resources in terms of talent on the team, in terms of our own very lives and the time that we have on this earth. He's given financial resources. And so we want to be sure to invest all of that for the greatest return. We don't want to simply, to spend our time, spend our talent, spend, our financial resources, just spend as much as we can for the sake of it. We also don't want to just save for the sake of it. No, we want to invest to bring a return to the kingdom. And so I thought I would close with reading this very famous passage, the parable of the talents from Matthew 25, verses 14 to 30. It says this is Jesus, and he tells this parable. He says, speaking of the kingdom, for it will be like a man going on a journey who called his servants and entrusted to them his property. To the one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, to another 1, to each according to his ability. Then he went away. He who had received the 5 talents went at once and traded with them and made 5 talents more. So also he who had 2 talents made 2 talents more. But he who had received the 1 talent went and dug in the ground and hid his master's money. Now, after a long time, the master of those servants came and settled accounts with them. And he who had received 5 talents came forward, bringing 5 talents more, saying, Master, you delivered to me 5 talents. Here I have 5 talents more. His master said, Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over little. I will set you over much. Enter into the joy of your master. And he also, who had the 2 talents, came forward, saying, Master, you've delivered to me 2 talents. Here I've made 2 talents more. And his master said to him, Well done, good and faithful servant. You've been faithful over a little. I will set you over much. Enter into the joy of your master. He also, who had received the 1 talent, came forward, saying, Master, I knew you to be a hard man, reaping where you did not sow, and gathering where you scattered no seed. So I was afraid, and I went and hid your talent in the ground. Here you have what is yours. But his master answered him, You wicked and slothful servant, you knew that I reap where I have not sown, and gather where I scattered no seed. Then you ought to have invested my money with the bankers, and at my coming I should have received what was my own with interest. So take the talent from him and give it to the one who has 10 talents. For to everyone who has more will more be given, and he will have an abundance. But from the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away. And cast the worthless servant into outer darkness. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Basically, the parable is talking about stewardship, that the Lord has given all of us different gifts, but he's given all of us so much, and we need to invest it. We need to use it. We need to invest it with excellence, seeking a return, not just hiding it away and certainly not wasting it, but pursuing excellence because we are his stewards. These gifts aren't ours. This time, this talent, this treasure, it's not ours. And so we need to steward it. We need to invest it. That's what we're trying to do here with LifeWise Academy as we pursue excellence. Well, somebody who I know is pursuing excellence is our director with Upper Scioto Valley. On the phone, we have Karla Ritchey. Karla, are you there?
I am.
Karla, thanks for being on the Vision Cast, and thank you so much for serving with LifeWise. Karla, we'd love to hear, how'd you get connected to LifeWise? What's your LifeWise story?
Well, my LifeWise story is I went to a few of the steering committees, and I really wasn't, I was just there because they asked me to come. Some people asked me to come, so I went. And then the campaign chair, the committee chairman, he called me and said, "Hey, we want you to be our director." And I said, "No, thanks, but I'll pray about it." And then he came to our house and he sat down with my husband and I, and he said again, "I want you to be our campaign director. Our program director." And I said, "No, thank you," but I said, "I'll pray about it." So then my husband and I, we went to a church conference, and my husband was going to one of his breakout sessions, and on the wall, he took a picture and sent it to me, and it said, "Every child deserves to be known, loved, and valued." I said, "Okay, God, I get it. I'll do it." So that's how I became the program director.
Well, thanks for being obedient to that call, and I tell you, I'm glad that you have some persistent people around you who are nagging you. I'm not above nagging to ask people to get involved when the mission's that important. So we're grateful to you to stepping up and to raising your hand. And so tell us, I know you have a particular story, maybe about an interaction with the some of the school officials or a particular school administrator in your community.
Yes, I was talking to an elementary principal. We kicked off in September of 2024. So after Christmas break, I went and talked to her, and I said, "Hey," I said, "have you noticed any difference since we started LifeWise?" And she said, "That's funny you're asking me that." She said, "Because I was just looking at referrals and comparing them to last year." And she said, we are down almost 50 referrals the same time last year.
Wow.
So I asked her, I said, "Do we have any of those students that were, being referred and stuff?" She says, "You have them all." I said, "Wow." I said, do you think we can attribute that to LifeWise?" And she just kind of looked at me and she said, "Yeah, probably." And I said, "Well, I'm going to take it as we are attributing that to LifeWise." So, yeah.
Well, I think I would take it the same way, Karla. I mean, yeah, what a coincidence. The exact same kids that go to LifeWise are no longer being sent to the principal's office for disciplinary issues. What a coincidence. But the truth is that we're seeing that exact same thing happen all over the place. We're seeing those office referrals as disciplinary things go down, and how encouraging it is to see the fruit of that. I mean, Jesus tells us that we will see fruit when there's real spiritual things going on. We will see fruit of that, and so how exciting to see that. As the director, how does that make you feel?
Well, first I wanted to think, wow, man, that's great. Look what I've done. But then I had to get myself back together and say, look what God did. Yeah. Because this is God, and I keep reminding our board, if God didn't want this to happen, none of this would have happened like it did, so, but it's a God thing, and he's still working, because I'm still having parents contacting me, "Hey, are you starting this grade and this grade?"
Really?
And, yeah, it's been great. Yeah. It's been, we started with first and second, and we ended the school year with first through sixth grade, so it went that quickly.
That's fantastic. Wow, it's great. You started with just that amount in 1 year. Do you see yourself going on to the middle school at some point, to the high school?
I do. In fact, I have an email to the middle school, high school principal. She hasn't gotten back with me yet, but yeah, I do. I do have it in the works, because I have parents messaging me or talking to me all the time. "Hey, these kids need it." And I said, "I know they do." I said, "I'm trying." I said, let's let God do his thing. So. Oh,
that's awesome. What, Karla, is there anything else that you want to share about the way you see the Lord moving in your program?
Yeah, I just, our community, we're a small rural community, and, this has just given everybody a chance. LifeWise has given everyone a chance to go out into the missionary field right in our own backyard, and allowing us to be the hands and feet of Christ. And, it doesn't matter if you don't have a lot of money, or, it's prayer is just allowing everybody to participate with us. And I think it's been great. I have adults, talking to me, "Hey, this is the best thing that's ever happened." And, the board and the school administration, our campaign volunteers, everybody is just so excited to see that they can do something for our students, and that's what's making me happy.
No, I love it. Well, I know it surely hasn't been easy. When people sign up to lead, hopefully we don't try to tell them it's going to be easy, because it's not. But I hope that you're finding that it is, that it's worth it. That's been my experience.
Oh yeah, and I was thinking yesterday. I think when I went to boot camp, I thought you guys were talking a foreign language, to be honest with you. And then, everything just came together after I started doing it. So, yeah, it was scary and intimidating. I'll admit that. So.
Well, I mean, Karla, it's you and others like you that are making it happen. I have a fun job. I get to sit here in this studio and have conversations with amazing servants like yourself, and yeah, just really grateful for you and the work you're doing, and really appreciate you sharing the story and being a part of the Vision Cast. Have a great day, all right?
Oh, you too. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Karla, and thanks everybody for joining us. We'll see you next week.